how to promote to team leader. And I know that sounds silly, but most of us didn't promote to team leader the way you promote to team leader now. And even checking numbers at the beginning of this month has been a learning experience for me. Even Jamie and I today were looking at one of her girls, and it was like, oh, we thought that she had 3 active. Well, guess what? She only has 2 now. And so staying on top of it's not just like, oh, once you're successful, you're always successful. Now you got to stay on top of all this information in back office and keep serious track of it. My neighbors are looking at me like, what is she doing on the floor wearing a tiara? So you want to make sure that you understand the requirements to promote to team leader first, and then you can look at this stuff. So let's start with a little, I'm going to share my screen. I want to start with this spreadsheet. Actually, I shared this with some of you guys already, but I'm starting here because I feel like until you understand where promoting to a certain level is going to take you income-wise, then you don't really have a clear path to your income goals. And so let's look at this spreadsheet. This is something that is going to allow you to reverse engineer. This is reverse engineer your income goals, no matter what path you are on. And so let's take a look at the very top row here with personal sales. So if you have $2,000 personal sales every month, you can count on $580 in personal commission, obviously. And then your central group sales, I always tell people I recommend that you shoot for 10,000, maintaining 10,000 central group sales on average all the time. That is going to give you $850 a month in override just from your central group, while you have other leaders and even if you don't have other leaders. And so that would give you $1,400, just you by yourself in your central group. Now, if you're like, I've never had anywhere near 10,000 central group, power of 10. It's all about the power of 10. Recruiting those 10 people that are actively working. I've got mine right up here. I actually have power of 10 right now, which is really exciting. I don't always. And they have people that they're recruiting as well. And so sometimes I have on my whiteboard, power of 4, and I'm looking at 6 empty spaces, and I'm like, I gotta fill those spaces, and I refill it every month, and I go at the beginning of this month, I had to look and go like, okay, is this girl really still in my power of 10, or has she kind of dropped off? Is she not really working anymore? Erase her. Now I need to go recruit somebody else. So that's the secret to 10,000 central group sales, is staying on top of your power of 10. Okay, we have other trainings for power of 10. Now, let's say you are a team leader and you're wanting to promote to advanced leader. Great. That means that you would have 1 first level leader. So right here, we're going to put a 1. And let's say that even maybe she's not doing 10,000, maybe she's doing 5,000 central group on average. That is going to raise your override up to 1,700. If you're always doing 10,000, she's doing on average 5,000, that's going to raise your override to that much just by adding a leader in a leadership team. Now, senior team leader is 2 first levels and 1 second level. Again, if they stay within this average central group, if they're working on their power of 10, you're working on your power of 10, this can fluctuate. But if everybody is doing what they're supposed to do, you can make 2,180 with 2 first levels, 1 first level. Let's say you promote from senior team leader to executive. You have 3 first levels, 1 second level at least, and you have 1 third level. Then you're earning 2,500 in override in addition to your personal sales commission. Now, after your 3rd level, you won't earn on those sales. So we only earn 3 levels deep. So if once this person promotes somebody out into their 4th level, your 4th level, then you're no longer earning on that. But that's okay, because this third level being strong and having an anchor in their own business, even if it means that you're not earning on them, that's good. That means that they're going to be continuing to stick around and grow their central group and be part of your team. And you want that. And so you want them to be successful in promoting out leaders. Don't let it deter you that it's not going to be in your executive group. That's okay. So let's look at senior executive leader, 4 first levels, 2 second levels, 2,980 override. And that's, again, keep in mind, this is all with this central group average. And then director, 6 first level. If you have an exec, then you have to have at least, you'll probably have, well, we're going to talk about that in a second. It'll probably look something, at minimum, something like this, probably more, because if you have 6 first levels, you're going to have more than these. So it would look like that. Now, let's say you are really good at helping your leaders get their power of 10 and have even more of a higher central group. I don't know how to do numbers. And have a higher central group average. Well, everybody's paycheck goes up, including yours, by a lot. And so not only the number of leaders on your team, so don't only focus on, I have to have this number of leaders so that I can have this title. You want everybody to have healthy teams, healthy central group sales, so that they're getting a nice override check each month. You want those people to be happy with where their teams are, and that is going to bring everybody's average up. And then let's go back. Let's just say 5,000. So let's go to, and this is something that before I had this spreadsheet, I would like calculate out and try to figure out, okay, if I want to make this much, like what does that mean for each of my levels? What does that mean for what everybody needs to be doing? Let's say that you probably have like that at minimum. So senior director, minimum requirement for team leader numbers. So it's 10, right? Yeah, 10. I'm telling you how to do it. I guess at 12. Okay. So that is a really helpful Excel spreadsheet that's just kind of fun to poke around in and honestly dream of what's possible. I love that Tabitha always says, if it's possible on paper, then it's possible. And so to just say like, okay, I've got these, even today I was using this, I've got 2 potential team leaders. I used it as motivation because I added them to my first level in that Excel spreadsheet, and I watched my override potential go up by $1,000, and every month, and that's motivating. That should be motivating for everybody. So let's talk about, I have my whiteboard. Let's talk about requirements. Hi, you can bring that to me? Okay, come here. Push, 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 push hard. Now our doors are kind of super hard. I got it. Thank you, my sweets. Love you. Okay, so this is you, and you are a team leader, and you want to promote to advanced. So you need 1 first level team leader. That's it, and you know that. Let me show you something that I just very recently have been working on in trying to get organized. And some of you guys already know about this, so I'm sorry if I'm boring you. But I have gone back and forth from paper copy to Excel spreadsheets to all kinds of things. And I've tried everything, and I'm so far feeling really good about it. I think the most important thing is that you don't have to use any particular system. It's just as long as you have a system and that it's something that works for you and that you can stay on top of and feel good about keeping up with. So I have can you see that? A document for each of my potential team leaders in my central group. And so if you are a team leader wanting to promote to advanced leader, this is what you would have. Like as soon as somebody is saying, I want to promote to team leader, get something out for them to where you can track what they need. And again, like having the rolling quarter to determine if those people are active, that's one of the most important things to check at the beginning of every single month. So that's that. And I have found that this is easier for me to just snap a picture of and send them in a message rather than to go to back office and take a screenshot and like grab it from my desktop. I can just go, boom, snap a picture and send it to them in Messenger and be like, look, we got to put a smiley face on your personal sales. Yay, you've reached that milestone. Now, once you have a team leader, and your bonus to promote to advanced leader is $200. So if you're a team leader and you don't have a leader under you yet, decide what you're going to spend your $200 bonus on. That's exciting. Like, that's in addition to your commission and your override. So do something special with it and just decide like, okay, when I promote to advanced leader, I'm going to get $200 bonus and I'm going to spend it on whatever I'm going to spend it on. Okay. So if you are, I'm going to use some people as examples. I hope that's okay. If you are an advanced leader and you're working on promoting to senior leader, I'm going to use, let's see here. I'm going to use Ruth. I hope that's okay, Ruth. Then you have one leader already, and she already has a second level leader. But you need 2 first level leaders and 1 second level leader. And when you have that, you will get a $500 bonus. So 2 first levels and 1 second level. And here's my tip for that. When you start to have leaders who are trying to promote out their own leaders, you can keep track of those things as well so that you can be in a conversation with your first level about their potential first level, which would be your second level that you need for senior team leader. So let's say right now you're an advanced leader and you're like, I don't know how to get that second level. I got a first level. I know how to do that, but how do I get a second level? So one thing that helps me is to keep track of my leaders, what they need left. And then I made this into a PDF so that I could print 4 per page, because it would just take up a lot of pages to track all the people. So for example, this girl, Taylor Preston, if you're on Bookshare Leaders, you're seeing her name a lot. She's a rock star. She is somebody in Ruth's downline who is going to help her. If she promotes a team leader, she's going to help Ruth get to senior team leader. And so I'm kind of just writing down her numbers and trying to stay on top of her tracker in back office. If you don't know how to find the tracker in back office, we're actually going to have a whole separate training on back office. But I go to my lineage report and I open the CG. Let's say you're opening Ruth's CG and find the girl, click on her, click on promotion, and then click on view details when it comes to promotion. But so I have a mini promotion tracker for this girl. So that I can talk to Ruth and be like, okay, it looks like Taylor's girl is really close to this much. Does she have any parties this week? And I can be talking to her about that. Okay, so that's senior team leader, 2 first level, 1 second level. That's easy. That makes total sense. But let's talk about executive, because this is when people start to get kind of money. So executive level, tiara. Gals wearing their tiaras, make sure it's in the screen. We invited everybody to wear their ELC shirt today. I think I know where ELC is, but it's a secret, so I can't tell anybody. But no, I'm not supposed to know. Somebody else told me, and somebody else told them. Long story. It's going to be awesome. You want to be there. Okay, so I really loved Robin's live today in Grit Factor. She told her tiara story, and I loved that she emphasized that, like, there's room for everyone. You know, like when you see us at ELC or when you see us even tonight with our tiaras and like our shirts, like we want you there if you want to be there. We want you wearing a tiara. We want you at ELC with us. And we want what you want. So there's room at the table for everybody. So this is the exec level you have in your first line, you have 3 leaders and their central groups, right? And then you have 1 second level and you have 1 third level. 1 second level, 1 third level. So one of your leaders has a leader under them, and that leader has a leader under them. So you can imagine if you're senior team leader and you're trying to get to executive, you might have a page like this that has, like maybe you don't have this gal yet. So you are going into back office and you're checking out your second line leaders, central group members, and you're looking for people who have pretty solid sales so that you can check on their trackers and keep track of them and message your first level and say, hey, have you talked to this person about this girl in her central group who's promotion bound? And you can all work together and be in those conversations. Okay, so that's executive. Now, senior executive, not very different. Oh, what's the bonus for executive? $1,000. $1,000 when you promote to executive. That is amazing. I really wish it was actually like that when I was promoting, because even though we got a different kind of bonus, it just feels like more that way. I think it probably is more too. So decide what you're going to spend your $1,000 bonus on. This is Kayleen. Kayleen is super close. You go, girl. Okay, next we have executive to senior executive. 4 first lines. You're just going to add 1 more first line. And then 2 second lines and 1 third. So there's only 2 team leader more for senior exec. 4 first lines, 2 second lines, 1 third line. Here's a question I get sometimes. Do these 2 second lines have to be under the same person? No, they don't. They can be anywhere. So 2 different team leaders can have a team leader, and that can count as your 2 in your second level. Okay, I'm going to erase. Oh, and senior executive bonus is $1,500. So you get another over 1,000. You get $1,500 bonus for going from executive to senior executive, and that's only adding 2 leaders. Y'all, that's easy. That's awesome. I mean, it's not easy. It's simple. Nothing is easy, but awesome. Okay, now senior executive to director. If you promote to director, what's the bonus to get promoted to director? $2,500. $2,500. And so to director, you have 6 first lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, this is also where it can get confusing, so let's talk about it. 6 first lines. After that, you just need to have an executive somewhere in your first 3 lines. Someone in your first 3 lines needs to hold the executive title. It's probably going to be someone in your first line because they have been with you the longest, probably. And so that's how we're going to draw it here. So somebody in your first line has 3 first levels, 1 second level, and 1 third level. That's it. You got to have an executive. So I remember when I was trying to promote to director, I stated my goal and I said, I want to promote to director. And Kaylee, I will never forget when Kaylee messaged me and said, I'm your exec. I'm going to be your executive to get you to director. Let's do this. And so at that time, I was just a senior team leader. And she was maybe a senior team leader too. I don't know. But we just decided that, like, we're going to do this together. So maybe you have somebody like that on your team who has the same goals as you, who is in your downline, who like wants to be your executive to help you get to director. How fun would that be? So then it's something that you're doing together, which makes it really fun. Okay, the last one is director to senior director, and you get a $5,000 bonus. You get an iPad with an Apple Pencil, and you get a free trip to Miraval in Tucson every year, which is the nicest place by far that I've ever been and probably ever will be. So every year. Okay, so senior director, you need 10. I'm just going to write it out. You need 10 first lines, and you need 1 director somewhere in your first 3 lines. Probably the executive that got you to director. Oh yeah, we'll talk about that here in a second. But 10 first lines and 1 director somewhere in your first level or your first 3 levels. And Carly did make a good point. So like we're directors and senior directors. Like especially once you get to senior director, there's no more bonuses for promoting up. And so they let us keep a promote out bonus. So if I were to promote out a team leader from my central group as a senior director, I'm going to get a $500 bonus for that every single time, no limit. So that is the breakdown of promoting to each level. Now I have one last piece of advice that I want to give you before we do questions, if you have them. And that is, even if you're a team leader right now, I want you to look at your end goal, even if that's like 10 years from now or whatever. Look at your end goal and focus on that map first. Like, don't just go, okay, I'm a team leader. Now I need to be an advanced leader. I need 1 leader. And then just because especially in a season like this, stacked promotions and double and triple promoting in 1 month will be a thing. And we want it to be a thing for you. You don't want to be watching other people going, how is she getting all these stacked promotions? How is she going from team leader to executive in 2 months? I'll tell you how. It's they map out their ultimate goal first instead of just starting with the next goal. So I'll never forget, in my consultant manual, we used to have a hard copy. It wasn't anything fancy. It was literally in a margin next to the rules about booths or something. I had a tiny little 6 across, and then mapping out who was going to be my executive. And so every time I got somebody in my central group who I thought could be a team leader, I wrote their name down in one of my 6 first level team leader spots to be the director. Because as soon as I wrote their name down, it's like I was committed to them to help them promote. So as soon as you find somebody who has the potential to promote to team leader, and don't prejudge, don't be too hard on them. Don't expect too much of them because people learn as they go. But if they're following directions and if they express the desire to promote to team leader, they can promote to team leader. And so write their name down and look at them in that spot, filling one of those 6 or 10 or whatever your goal is spots, so that you can be committed to them and start tracking them daily, and get them on a path to promote to team leader with a deadline. Okay, does anybody have any questions about any of those? I feel like since they upped the team leader requirement to 5 active recruits, a lot of my downlines haven't been as driven. I'm finding it hard to light that fire again. Hopefully mapping it out will help. Okay, so I was actually worried about that, and I started to feel like, oh my gosh, this is hard. But after Christy Vest did that training with us pretty recently on using Climb to motivate people to basically be on track for team leader, I have been way more on top of doing that for my people. So for example, I start off much sooner sending them this, and I write the deadline of okay, your deadline for each level is these days. And so before their launch, I'm going, okay, we need $500 in sales to get your $25 book credit, and you're going to have 2 parties booked for next week, and one of those people could flip and get you the water bottle. We talk about it, and we don't talk about it always in terms of team leader. We mostly talk about it in terms of Climb, because if you talk about it in terms of Climb first, that seems more doable to them. And then you can go, you already have a recruit and $1,000 in sales. You're practically on your way to team leader. So stickers make me happy. So did you share that tracker with the 4 mini team leader promo on the page? So no, it's saved as a PDF. in the folder, and then you just have to change your printing settings to change like print 4 on 1 page. We're out of time. I'm sorry I didn't leave very much time for questions. I hope that this was helpful, and I'm going to share all of these trackers and things with you in the page. Okay, bye.